Ushawahi panga siku yako vizuri that nikiamka kesho nitafanya hivi, saa 5 nitafanya hivi, saa 8 nitafanya hivi, saa 10 nitafanya hivi. At the end of the day I should have achieved this and this. Ama kesho nitaenda meeting fulani. Then when the day comes, ukienda kulala, you start diagonizing, you start looking behind. Nilisema nitafanya hivi. Unaanza kujiuliza nimefikisha wapi ama nimeattain nini? And I've come to realize, out of the 20 things that you plan, or 10, if you lack focus, if you don't know how to keep yourself focused, out of the 10 things and you umesema are going to achieve them, you find that you are going to get 2 or 3 things done. The reason being, nowadays there is a lot of distractions everywhere. If your phone is not a distractor, then you have a friend. Then we have things that we like doing, our passion. There are those people who like drinking. There are those people who like talking all the time. But the most distractors that we have right now is the phones that we have, that we carry. Internet is number one distractor. You are glued to this black face. You know, you must put yourself out of that cocoon. And that's what I've come to realize. Most of the successful, the politicians, the rich people, they all have PAs, personal assistants. These are the people who are going to do little choices for them. If paying for gas, you know, if a car has a puncture, you know, they take care of those small things. They represent you even in other meetings, because if you have big businesses or you are so busy, they can go and represent you in other meetings, like family meetings and whatever, because they want to have that focus. It said, actually, a real man is someone who says, I'm going to do this tomorrow, and he does it. That's a real man. But you find that when you plan your day for the next day and the next day, you have a to-do list. You find that out of what you said you're going to do, you have just done 2 or 3 items. And I've come to realize that we all should protect our focus. Like, life depends on it. Imagine you have an office. You have people who are working for you. You have the taxman. You have the insurances. You have the lawyers, you have the accountants, you have people to pay, you have rent to pay. That is something that does not give you a chance to lose focus. Because one mistake can lead you to fall very bad. Very bad. Everything that you have, all the chances or the choices that you say that you are going to do, we should take all those actions with sense of urgency, like we want it so bad. And that's why today I've come across, I was trying to get information about why we do things that we had planned not to do. And I've come across these things that we call prioritizational matrix. This is why you put first things first. First things first. There are those things which are important, but they are not urgent. There are those which are important, not important, and not urgent. So you should be able to plan yourself. Put important things first, which are urgent. So if there is something that you have a meeting, a board meeting, that is going to bring revenue, and it's what your business is lacking, that is one item that should be very important and very urgent. The other activities which are important, but they are not urgent. You know, if like having a meeting, a daily meeting with your team, it's very important, but it's not urgent. And there are these things which are not important, and they are still not urgent. like taking tea in the office. It's not important and it's not urgent. So, when you find that there is something that it's urgent, but it's not important, you should delegate. Look for another person to do that thing. So if something is not urgent, if something is urgent and not important, just delegate. If you have something that is important and it's not urgent, put it in to-do list. I'm going to do this. It's important, And when you find something that is not important and it's not urgent, turn it down. Turn it down. If you know where you're going losses or you're doing mistakes. If something is not important and it's not urgent, don't do it. Drop it down like it's hot. If something is very important and it is very urgent, do it right now. I don't know if you are getting, and that's why it's called a matrix. A matrix is something complex. So let me start from the bottom. If something or an activity or an action is very important or very urgent, do it right now. If there is something in your to-do list which is not important and it's not urgent, drop it down like it's hot. If something is important and it's not urgent, put it to do it at another time or put it in your to-do list. It can be tomorrow's to-do list or next day's to-do list. If something is urgent but it's not important, just delegate. If there are people who are coming to collect documents from the office, the lawyer, whatever, and you are so busy, you are doing something that is important and it's urgent, you have your secretary to do that. And you have a support system who can do that, or any signatory can do that. So you have to understand how to keep yourself focused, use this prioritization matrix. And someone told me, if you own a business, you should not work in the business, you should work on the business. So get people to do what you're supposed to do. Work from outside. Your work is to bring people in the business. Look for those contacts that are going to turn to be contracts. Look for contacts that are going to turn into contracts, because when you have contracts, there's money coming in. I hope that sinks. Look for those contacts that are going to turn into contracts, because contracts brings you money. That is urgent and important. Make sure that you don't negotiate with your banks, investors. If you make money for everyone, you're also going to make money, because to whom much is given, much is expected. So make sure you have this planned well. The reason I've talked about it, because I'm a culprit. I found myself doing things that I was not supposed to do, saying I'm going to do this and it's not done. And unless you diagnose where the problem is, you'll keep on repeating the problem after the problem after the problem. And you know what? The moment you cover a problem of a problem of a problem, to get the solution, you have to go deep down. And it is very hurtful for business. It's very hurtful for running of day-to-day of everything, because life depends on you if you are the owner of the business. There are people who you have to pay. There are people you have to check on, their certificates, and everything relies on the person who makes the decision.